Hi, it's me, Vamp, and welcome back to the Warframe Madness podcast, where we talk about Warframe, of course, my life, all kinds of things, just whatever comes to mind, really. It's a Warframe Madness podcast because we talk about Warframe, but we also talk about other stuff too. So it's probably more madness podcast than anything. But let's get into Warframe stuff for the first half, then I'll explain a little bit about the stuff that I have been going through, or some big changes coming in the future. We should probably talk about that at some point too. But let's start with Warframe, shall we? And those big changes that might be coming in the future. Okay. So, at the time of actually making this podcast episode, Plague Star actually is back. For those of you guys that don't know, Plague Star is an event in Warframe in which you can get some pretty cool stuff. Most people use it for Forma though, because if you've gotten all the arcanes, you've gotten all the Zaw weapon parts, the only thing it's used for basically is built format because you can get a built format. That's one built format every run basically. So if you like to say 1,000 runs, you get 1,000 format. Okay. I don't know if anyone even does 1,000 runs, but 1,000 runs would equal 1,000 format. And the runs are about, let's say, 15, 20 minutes at the most. So, yeah, take that as you will. If we round to 30, then you can do 2 runs per hour, 4 hours, 8 runs, 8 formats in 4 hours. That's not bad since they're already built. But anyway, that's not the tidbit that we're going to talk too much about. I would just want to do some super simple housekeeping before we get into things that they talked about in the dev stream, which the biggest thing probably was survey results. It turns out people really did not like the lich system as much as I did. I really enjoyed the lich system, okay? Yes, it had its faults. It had actually more faults than I realized until people pointed it out. Like, such as the whole grinding for the lich thralls, they like give little to no, indication of the lich's what you need to actually defeat the lich, which is not actually all that great. And also the fact that you can get a lich with a duplicate weapon. Well, the thing is they've um, said maybe they will implement some kind of coin-based system, like if you don't get the let thing you want, you get a coin, and then you can use it next time and get another coin, or buy something that lures them in, or something like that. I don't know. They were kind of iffy about the whole subject because I don't think they know what they want to do yet. They tried implementing an idea. Well, they had an idea of a coin system when the sorties first came out. I don't know how many people remember. In case you don't know what the sorties are, they're a series of quests, 3 quests that are somewhat randomized. What they will be higher level enemies. 31 is like 50 to 70, 32 is like 70 to 80, and 33 is like 90 and 100, 80 to 100 type. Yeah, well, anyway, and those offer random rewards. At one point, they were going to implement a coin system, but it seems like everyone seems okay with the sorting now, so they didn't have to implement anything. But now they're talking about implementing something for the Kuva ledgers, which, I mean, something needs to be done. Now that I noticed, it's one of those things like that when you don't notice, it's perfectly fine, it's whatever, but then when you notice, you can't unnotice it. It's like unseen. I can't unsee the flaws now that they've been pointed out to me. I'll still enjoy the ledge system, don't get me wrong, but I will know that it could be better. Okay. And they also vaguely mentioned the next frame, which apparently she's going to be a tech-based frame, whatever that means. Don't really know, not really sure at all. But yeah, what you gonna do, right? We'll figure it out. Probably, maybe. I don't really know. Okay. Anyway, um, and then after that, what else did they mention? Empyrean. Empyrean. They are working on making Empyrean less grindy overall, which is good because Empyrean is like ridiculously grindy. So grindy, I don't even want to do Empyrean right now these days. I actually did enough to unlock the quest. But other than that, I'm not really, yeah, I'm not really interested in, Empyrean these days. Now, those of you guys that are watching slash listening to this podcast on the YouTube, top right hand corner, I will leave a card to my dev stream recap where I recap the most recent dev stream at the time of this podcast, as well as a card to my, other YouTube channel if you want to check it out. I mean, feel free to check it out if you wish. Let's see. Now that we got that shameless promotion out of the way, there is something else on the dev stream they did talk about, which honestly I don't remember at the top of my head. I'm hoping it comes back to me. Oh yeah, okay. So Brooke is getting an augment apparently. And this augment is for his law ability. It's called Lullaby. Okay, so apparently what it would do is if you kill an enemy that is affected by law, which is his sleep ability, it will instantly cast it then. Which I'll be honest, I'm not really sure how useful that would be. We'll have to see. It could be insanely useful, could be not useful at all. Now, if there were like a mission with like mobs of enemies coming at you, maybe I'd see it more useful. Like definitely maybe an infested mission it would be useful. I'm not sure how useful in regular combat it would be. I guess we aren't supposed to really prejudge stuff per se, I haven't got my hands on it. I don't play Baruch all that much, if I'm being honest. So, of course, I will be doing like a mini thoughts of it once the update hits console. Which I'll probably be going into more of a discussion about this in a future video, but they did talk about something interesting, which is the idea of cross save, whether or not they think it would be beneficial enough to put all the resources and manpower into actually figuring it out. So yeah, definitely stay tuned if you're on YouTube's end. Stay tuned for a future video on that, a discussion video on that, because yeah, that's actually worth its own conversation, I think. And also, if you're listening and you aren't on YouTube, if you search on YouTube Warframe Madness, WARFRAME Madness, MADNESS, Warframe Madness, you will find my channel. Feel free to subscribe to it so you can stay tuned for that video. And the final Warframe thing I want to talk about is Nightwave. Nightwave, they announced that they're working on Nightwave Series 3, which means we will most likely have to deal with Nightwave Intermission for a little bit longer. I know almost everyone is probably ranked up and everything, but I mean, better have intermission than nothing, right? And apparently, not a lot of people were excited for Nightwave, judging by their survey. So hopefully, they're doing something to make Nightwave mobile viable, because I still have my reservations about Nightwave, honestly. It's supposed to be it's the replacement for alerts, and it doesn't seem as new player friendly as it should, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's actually enough of the Warframe specific content. I actually have some news, which is interesting news, I guess. Okay. So I guess the interesting news of it is that I happen to be using new software to actually render my videos, edit and render my videos. I use new software now. Apparently, the software I was using is so old, so outdated that the render times were crazy. We're talking 12-minute rendering for a 8-minute video where I literally just didn't change anything. All I did is import it into there so I could so I could have the two audio channels, because I record via MP4 with multiple audio tracks. And then that's basically all I did. I rendered it in the same format it was recorded in, everything just the same, and it took 12 minutes for an 8-minute video, and that was with no added stuff such as an in card, intro card, or no special effects whatsoever. It was crazy. I've the new program I got did that in half the time. Oh, and hit the kicker. The program I was using before, it was using GPU acceleration, and it still went that long. It just wasn't an efficient program. So I'm using this new program now, and so much stuff is free that it's astounding. See, the other program is a paid program. I paid for that. But this one is free and it does so much more. And I actually, if you're here collecting it, because I got a Discord thing, and then I actually always do the Discord thing. It doesn't matter what I'm doing on my computer. I actually just always click on a Discord thing. Like, if I see it pop up, because it just annoys me to always see those ones and twos and whatnot there. I think there's an option to turn it off, but then I'd feel like I'd miss so much, like, because I actually do have places that contact me. I'm a Warframe partner, so sometimes I get a message from DE, one of the DE people, usually Taylor or Marcus. Fun fact, I actually, if you look at one of the podcasts before this, earlier podcast, they actually did an interview with D. Taylor and that interview with D. Megan at one point as well. And yeah, that's actually mostly all I have to say about the home recording thing. Except for, okay, so this would turn into like a mini thing that might turn into some kind of pitch, but I don't mean it to sound that way. I actually, so have been making, taking time, making an effort to actually um, replace different things on my Patreon. That's, my Patreon is, patreon.com/ Vamp6x6x6x. I just thought I'd throw it out there, but I've been making an effort to change stuff on my Patreon because of the fact that I noticed lately that certain things are harder the next few whatever on me. Okay, on me mentally and physically as well. I know what you're thinking. How physically? Because I worry myself to a point where I'm forcing myself to stay up all night sometimes or stay up through whatnot, just like, oh, I need to get this done, I need to get this done. And, because I don't know if I talk about this much, but this is what I do between YouTube videos, streaming on Twitch, and this podcast, twitch.tv/vamp6x6x6x. If you're watching this on the YouTube or listening on the YouTube, all the links will be in the description below, including the link to this podcast, which is odd of me to say because you only hear that if you're listening/watching this podcast. But yeah, I said it nonetheless. And I don't mean it to sound like any kind of pitch or anything. It's just what I go through sometimes, because it's kind of hard. I have no security blanket, as you will, no backup plan. This is it. As much as I love it, sometimes it can be very stressful. If you're a content creator, if you're a fellow content creator, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes it can be stressful, but at the end of the day, I do get happy when I get stuff right with thumbnail making, when I make a video that, I actually edited with extra effects and everything, and it was my first time doing it, and it turned out good. It's so satisfying. Also, you know what else is satisfying? And I don't know how many of you guys actually made it to the end of this podcast to hear me saying this, but you guys, when you guys leave comments, positive comments and stuff, it really does, it really actually does make me happy. I appreciate the comments whenever you guys leave feedback on what you would like to see more of. I do take that feedback into consideration as well. And overall, it just makes me happy to engage with you guys, see you guys engaging with me, we hanging out together, and doing all the crazy stuff together. Because I know I don't know everything about everything. If you guys know some cool tricks or cool deep secret, deep dark secrets and everything, feel free to spill the tea. Let me know. Let me know what's up. I want to be on the up and up. Okay, I've rambled about that enough. I'm actually waving my arm as I'm talking, but you guys can't actually see me wave my arm as I'm talking, which actually, I guess, no, that really wouldn't be a question for now. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know what you guys think of this podcast. Let me know. Well, if you're on YouTube, you can let me know. Again, youtube.com/Warframe Madness. I almost said Vamp Plays. That's another channel which you can check out if you want. But if you want to reply to this particular podcast, go to Warframe Madness on YouTube. It will be, what is it, the 4th episode? Probably. Let me get that exact episode for you guys because I hate giving misinformation. That's one of my big things. Okay, it looks like it would be episode 3. Yeah, episode 3. Okay, so yeah, search for season 3, episode 3. Yeah, it will be probably titled More Madness, if I'm being honest. I think I like the idea of calling it More Madness. So that's what I'll probably do. And with that said, hopefully, you guys actually liked this podcast, and hopefully you guys share it with like everyone you know, some people you don't know. Who knows, if you guys work, maybe your boss will like it. You could get your boss hooked so you could be listening to the podcast while you're working, and your boss will be happy and give you a raise. And okay. Okay, I'll catch you guys in the future. Later.